Hi guys, Harvey Hooke here. A lot of people have been asking me from my video before, Hi guys, Harvey Hooke here. A lot of people have been asking on my video on how to talk to strangers, more specifically how to talk to guys. Now, in that video, I discussed the 3 laws, because I kept switching between laws and rules, the 3 laws of talking to strangers or talking to guys, because it's really universal. You can use these laws to talk to anyone, but when taught in a very specific way, these laws have actually changed people's lives. And if we go through coaching, that's what we work on to make sure you completely understand it. And I'm going to try and give you as much content as I can in as quick as amount of time. But the 3 laws were focus on feelings, focus on fun, and focus on flying. Now, the one thing a lot of people have been asking me about the focusing on feeling parts, because they feel when they're talking to someone new, especially someone they're interested in, they run out of things to say. And that's crazy. When I say focus on feelings, there are so many things going on. There's so many things that you're feeling and I'm feeling at every given point in time. And so a simple example is, well, you know what? I meet so many people who don't actually know how to hold a conversation, like daily. And it's really fascinating because I almost semi-coach them during conversation. And, saying this, you might hear that, you'd be like, well, aren't you just being a dick? It's like, no, I'm actually just having fun. Because standard conversation I might get, if someone might ask a boring question and they're like, oh, hello, how's your day going? And I'm like, very good, thank you. And I might try, some jokes or whatever and all that kind of stuff. But then, they resort to whatever they know is best. So they might tell you a story that you don't really care about or you don't know about. And that's just really funny. So to battle this, you focus on feelings. So someone might say, how's your day going? You might talk about the weather or the day or something, but more specifically, how it makes you feel, because feelings are universal. And this came to an epiphany to me when I was at the Tony Robbins thing, and someone was speaking to me in a very logical manner and I couldn't actually relate to him. And I was, feeling this amazing fun, especially from Tony Robbins, and I just wanted to enjoy myself. And he was trying to talk business. I'm like, hey man, I really don't want to speak business here. I really don't. I really appreciate that. But what I really want to feel is this. And he didn't quite get that because he wasn't quite tuned into emotions very well. And that's okay. If I had some time, I'd fix that. But so a really good example, someone spoke to me this morning about the weather, which is a really boring question, but that doesn't mean you have to give a really boring answer. So my response was, the weather is really good today, which in Melbourne, if you like the weather in 15 minutes, it's going to change anyway. There's 4 seasons in a day. But, I then started proceeding to, the weather's really nice. It's probably going to change soon. Isn't it fascinating how people's moods, depending on the weather? I feel so happy when the sun is out. Yeah, I feel that too, because they agree. Similarly, you could ask them the question are you a cat or a dog person? And they're like, I'm a dog person. Then you can ask the question. Now, the real thing is to ask about feelings. This is very important, and give this a go. If you don't implement this at all, the thing here is if you implement even 1% of it, you might ask them a question, just an experiment to see, you might see the response, you might add this more. And if you don't, that's okay too. This is like ingredients into a soup, which is the conversation. The soup is a conversation. This is a very delicious carrot that you chuck into the soup. So, are you a cat or a dog person? And they're like, dog. How would you feel if you were a cat and you had to hunt for your own mice? And I'm just making this up on the top of my head, but they'd be like, that'd be pretty funny. I wouldn't like that or whatever. And they discuss their feelings because they're always going to be feeling something. You do this naturally already. It's absolutely insane, but you probably do this naturally already if you just see a movie and you see a movie with someone and then you discuss the movie afterwards, how it made you feel. Or you're looking at a movie, you're reading a movie review and they talk oh, it was really good. In the end, they're actually just discussing their feelings in any movie review. So it's really not that hard. But the other thing is, now, this is very key. This is called the law of consistency. Now, we as humans, we have a bias that if we do something, and knowing this, you might change this as well. If you become aware, you can start to step out of it. And you might have done this as well. If you say or do something, we're more likely we want to be consistent with that image, so we keep doing it. A good example is, you might work out and tell people that you work out, and then as a result, you might, keep working out. Or similarly, I know people, if you're in a situation where you try and quit alcohol, if you're trying to quit or reduce the amount, you might tell people, and because you've told people, you're more inclined to do it. So it's very important when you're having a conversation to build and not destruct. Because if you're having a conversation with someone and this, again, I always go into crazy rants, but this is all gold, all gold. You don't know, but this is going to change your life if you implement it. If you don't implement it, 10 years down the track, you'll understand. But when you build on a conversation, it's kind of positive. So, you know, with the whole cat situation, you might be like, oh, hey, that's really cool. I'd love to be a cat that could, you know, be the king of the jungle, because that's building. You know, and then you add that to the soup, you're like adding in other ingredients. Destructive is taking ingredients out. So that would be shutting down what someone else says. And I did make a video about yes and, which is kind of like a drama game or an impromptu drama thing as well. You can click that here. So, which is the yes and is basically adding to the soup. If you were to destruct or remove from the soup or the conversation, if someone's like, oh, you know, I'd really want to be a cat who would just be the king of the jungle, you know, the king of the domestic jungle. And as a response, you're like, oh, that's actually really shit, you know, I'm a dog person. Or I don't want to be part of that. That's removing ingredients from the soup. That's going to make the other person feel bad. And then, due to the law of consistency, that person will comply to that negative behavior. It's the similar thing, like if you go to a bar and you try and meet a guy and you might be like, hey, are you having fun? And he'd be like, yeah, I'm having fun, it's amazing. Because that builds to it, that's like more positive. If you then turn to a different guy and say, hey, you don't look like you're having fun, then he has to either fight you or agree, and that's negative, and that doesn't make the other person feel good. Anyway, if you did like this video, make sure to leave a like, and if you didn't like this video, make sure to leave a like. If you haven't even watched this whole video and you just click to the end, make sure to subscribe, and I will see you in the next video where life and love and the two come together. If you're interested in coaching and getting this one-on-one and just really finding to the core of what your situation is and the solution, because you know what, more often than not, I find one conversation changes someone's life. It's absolutely amazing. And the only reason why it didn't change their life is because they didn't actually do what I told them to do. Anyway, cool, make sure to leave a like, email in the description, I don't know, whatever, you know, just I'm here if you need me. There's YouTube if you also need me, you know. Mwah.